Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk, Season 4, Episode 2. Coming up today, we preview the Lions' upcoming divisional round contest against the Washington Commanders. We take a look at the Tigers' offseason so far and the moves they have made and have yet to make as well. The Pistons have won again, and it was one of the best and most entertaining games of the season so far. We also preview a stacked weekend of playoff football. I'm Anthony Schulte, and joining me as always is my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Hope you guys this week is going great. Happy Wednesday. I have one complaint, and that it is too dang cold outside.
It's very cold.
Yeah.
Very cold. Next Monday, luckily we won't have a show on Monday. Next Monday is a Martin Luther King Day. The high is 5. The low, -5. Feels like -17
It's going to feel like that on Tuesday morning, too.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm buying an electric blanket. I'm going to be stocking up on blankets, and it's going to be rough in the next few weeks.
It is. It's going to be very cold. Right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Great to be here on a Wednesday. Lots of good stuff to get into today. Baseball is almost back. We're getting ready for spring training here. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
So, Ryan mentioned that we are not going to have a show on Monday. A little housekeeping here. Martin Luther King Day, everything's kind of closed. We all have the day off, so no show on Monday. We're going to be back on next Wednesday, so a week from today will be Episode 3, our next show. Let's get into our 3 stars, shall we? Michael, start us off today.
Alrighty, my third star, a little ode to CMU basketball. 3 of us were there last night.
We were.
It was a good contest against Eastern Michigan. Kind of broke away in the second half. Third star is going to go to Ugnis Jarusevičius, the big guy out of Lithuania. Oogie. Great game for him last night. Career-high 23 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 3 steals, and a block, plus-minus of 16. Pretty good night for him in the maroon and gold. And my second star is going to go to Jamal Murray.
Great game from Jamal.
He went off. 45 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists in 37 minutes over the Dallas Mavericks, who are just riddled with injuries right now. It was around like 73-45 in the third quarter. So it was over that quickly. And my first star is going to go to the Greek freak himself, Giannis.
The Greek freak.
33 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists, triple-double over the Sacramento Kings, who I can't believe fired Mike Brown. Yeah. I digress. Those are my 3 stars.
Ryan.
I will say that Mike Brown firing is so dumb. It's so dumb. I love Mike Brown as a coach. I love his offense. And the fact that they fired him is pretty stupid. Anyways, my Derek Lalonde negative star of the day goes to Kyrie Irving, who last night against the Denver Nuggets, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a plus-minus of -17.
Yikes.
Disgusting. Anyways, let's get into some positive notes. My third star is Vladimir Tarasenko, who last night against the San Jose Sharks in the loss, 2 goals, 2 points, his first goal in 18 games. He's been struggling a lot goal-wise. He only has 6 on the year. Not too great, but still, notching in 2 goals and a loss, I'll take it. My second star, Donovan Mitchell, who last night against the Indiana Pacers, 35 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, a plus-minus of +13. Getting it done. It was close towards the end of the second quarter, but it was all Cleveland in the second half. Great effort by the Cavs. I love what they're doing down there in Cleveland. And my first star goes to my guy, Malik Beasley. On Monday against the New York Knicks, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. 75% from the free throw line, or from the three-point line, and 53% field goal percentage, including a dagger to seal the win for the Pistons. We'll talk about that later in the mecca of basketball. Those are my 3 stars.
All right, good stars for you. My 3 stars. 3 is Scoot Henderson. In 39 minutes, he had 39 points, career high, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 13 of 18 from the field and 8 of 10 from 3.
Jeez.
Wow.
So, great game from Scoot. It's a breakout game, a career game so far for him.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, one of the best performances of the night. So it's amazing what happens when you actually play Scoot and don't bring him off the bench. My second star is Marcus Sasser. Sasser, it's not because of any stats that he's put up. It's not because of any big game that he had. It's because since Jaden Ivey went down, it feels like we haven't lost Jaden Ivey in a sense that it's not like we lost a body, if you will. He's stepped up. He's kind of come into this backup guard role when we're starting Tim Hardaway Jr. at the 2, sometimes Malik Beasley. Sasser will come in. He's kind of filled in for Ivy. He's not putting up the sexiest stats. Maybe he's putting up 7 points, 5 points, maybe the occasional 10 points. But he's putting up smart shots. He's making those shots. And he's just playing a vital role for this team. He got the WWE belt that the Pistons are giving to, each player that really works the hardest and, kind of brings the dog mentality. That was Sasser against the Knicks. He had a really good performance, maybe not on the stat sheet, but just overall performance. Marcus Sasser's really stepped in. He's no Jaden Ivey. Don't get me wrong. He's no Jaden Ivey. However, he's kind of filling that role the way he needs to and the way this team needs him to. So he's my second star. My first star, Cade Parker Cunningham. On Monday against the New York Knicks. 36 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 14 of 27 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. His first game since I think it was late March of last season with under 5 assists. He had a streak going this entire season of at least 5 assists. He didn't get there. However, he didn't need to get there. We needed him to score the ball, shoot the ball. He started off the game kind of rough. First half, didn't really shoot the ball well. Second half, had 29 points in the second half and shot the ball really well. Mm-hmm. So Cade gets my first star, leading the Pistons to a victory. Our first topic today. The Detroit Lions, they play a football game on Saturday. We kind of talked about it a little bit on Monday. The Lions play a very important game against the 30th ranked run defense in the Washington Commanders. And I have good news to report. David Montgomery should be back. He's been practicing all week. He's on track to play. Same with Terrion Arnold. You got Sonic and Knuckles against the 30th ranked run defense. I think it's a perfect storm lining up for a Lions win, personally.
I mean, that's really the only way you win. I mean, I knew they had the 30th ranked defense, and I was going to mention this on the show of my points to win, and that's pound the rock. Mm-hmm. You have you have the best running back duo in football, and against that run defense, you got to pound that ball. You have to run the ball. You can afford a pass or two, but still.
Goff shouldn't be attempting more than 16
the ball
or 17.
With David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, this year I don't like what they did with them because they'll start with David Montgomery in the first drive and then they'll go to Jahmyr Gibbs. Why not just mix it up every drive instead of having one or the other? I mean, David Montgomery, have him for those short runs or have him for those powerful runs, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, have him for those long runs. Have him when you're at the 50 and he can just run. And that's what he really does. I know David Montgomery's a ground and pound guy. Jahmyr Gibbs is just that fast and speedy guy. It's like a WWE tag team. It's perfect. I think having David Montgomery back is so helpful. The question is, are we going to limit him? Are we going to give him a snap count? How much is David Montgomery going to play because he still has that torn ACL or MCL or whatever he has? But
it's the recovery process, he said, has been really hard. And I think it's fully recovered. If it wasn't fully recovered, I don't think he'd be playing, or at least recovered enough to where he could play and contribute. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has earned the number 1 running back spot.
He did. Yeah.
I think the way he played in Montgomery's absence, it kind of didn't even feel like we were missing David Montgomery because it felt like Jahmyr Gibbs kind of turned into both an elusive and a power back. Mm-hmm. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs, he earned the running back 1 status. So even if Montgomery is limited, I think Jahmyr Gibbs isn't going to see his role diminished. I think, when Jahmyr Gibbs is tired or we need to put in another running back, instead of Craig Reynolds, it's David Montgomery. Mm-hmm. Instead of Jamar Jefferson, it's David Montgomery. And I think that'll just be it'll just ease up the offense a little bit more. Goff should not be attempting more than 16 or 17 passes. He should not be.
No question.
I don't think. I mean, look at the Seahawks game. What is he, 18 for 18? Mm-hmm. There are a couple games this season, 16 passes, 17 passes, maybe 19 passes. That mid to upper teens should not go into the 20s. It should be a run the ball game because you are that explosive. Look at Jahmyr Gibbs, week 18 against the Vikings. That was an explosive game, very electric game. Ran the ball most of the time.
Exactly. 3 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown.
Exactly. So Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of that all-around back that you could still have an electric offense without throwing the ball. That's Jahmyr Gibbs. Mm-hmm. And then you have Montgomery coming back, Terrion Arnold coming back on the defense. Pretty sure he'll be okay for that game. He's practiced.
They did tell us that he was day-to-day, so I wasn't really, worried that he would not play. I knew he'd play. He was day-to-day. It didn't look that bad. I mean, people could play on a broken foot, but he should be back.
When I saw him getting carted off, the first thing that came to my mind was, we need him for the divisional round. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know if we didn't know the severity of the injury, so we didn't know if he'd be ready or not. But I'm happy to see that he's ready because we need as much depth at cornerback that we can get. Terry McLaurin is an incredible wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I think his name's Olamide Zaccheaus.
Yep.
Olamide Zaccheaus, he's been really good. Zach Ertz,
Curtis
very
Samuel.
Good. Curtis Samuel,
Brian
solid.
Robinson.
Brian Robinson's
Austin
a good receiving
Eckler,
back.
They have some weapons on offense.
And then Jane Daniels.
And you got Jane Daniels, who I think another game point I have is limit his deep ball. Not only is he fast, which we kind of struggle with fast quarterbacks.
Mobile quarterbacks,
but he has a nuke of an arm. He can throw that ball from Week 8 in Chicago. Yeah. From his own 40, he threw it to the 1. That was impressive. Even if Noah Brown didn't catch it. Or was that Noah Brown?
Noah Brown, yeah.
Even if Noah Brown didn't catch it, that was still an impressive throw by Jaden Daniels.
For sure.
From your own 40 to the opposing team's 1 is incredible. So he has crazy arm talent. He's mobile. He kind of proved that he can beat over 500 teams, which I thought he could not do this entire year, but he did. He proved it. I'm not saying this could either go 2 ways: Lions blowout, or Commanders win in really close.
You don't think it's gonna be a close Lions win?
Listen, this Commanders team has won in very close, tight games.
That is true.
Take a look at Tampa in their divisional round. It came to the last drive for them to win and knock it in
off a doink.
Off of the doink.
Mm-hmm. Chicago. Hail Mary, Philadelphia, to basically knock them out of first place. Last drive, touchdown. This team is really good in the clutch, and I feel like if the Commanders do win this game, it's going to be like a last game winning drive. Or the Lions could just absolutely murder them.
I feel like it just kind of proves what a special talent Jaden Daniels is. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is special. I mean, we're called card guys. His cards right now are through the roof.
Yeah.
Because everybody believes in this guy. He's showing all the big game potential in the clutch. Look at him in the clutch. How many clutch drives? We just discussed it. How many clutch drives does this guy lead?
A lot.
A lot of them. At such a young age, in his rookie year, he's calm, cool, collected, doesn't let the game get to his head. In the game, it's just so slow for him.
He's a rookie quarterback that looks like he's played
he looks like a veteran.
Exactly. He does not play like a rookie quarterback.
And I feel
Dude's insane.
I feel like Aaron Glenn knows that, and I feel like at practice, one of the things they have to be worried about right now, or they're probably, focusing on and working on, is their prevent defense against mobile quarterbacks that needs to be neutralized against Jaden Daniels, because he will kill you with his legs. And then if you neutralize his legs, he's going to kill you with his arm. I'd rather him kill us with his arm and their receiver talent just making spectacular catches than him running for 10, 15, 20 yards every possession to get first downs on third down.
And not only does he have a cannon of an arm, he's very accurate, too.
He is accurate, yeah.
I mean, you also have to limit that. I trust Amik Robinson on Terry McLaurin. He absolutely locked up Justin Jefferson last week.
He did.
I mean, seatbelt. I trust this cornerback room. I trust Branch and Kirby, but I mostly trust Amik Robinson and Terrion Arnold to lock down Zacchaeus and Terry McLaurin. So
and Rakestraw might be back too.
That's true.
That's
but
huge.
Then again, he hasn't really played that much this year.
Yeah, he could step up, though. I think when we drafted Rakestraw, obviously I wanted Sanders still over him. However, I still believe that he was really good at Mizzou. I believed he could be a really good talent, and I still believe that. He just needs, his opportunities, his reps, and he'll get those. And he might get a big-time rep in this game. You never know. You never know what could happen. You never know what football could bring, and that's kind of like the beauty of football. Something can happen, and then some guy comes in off the bench, some rookie comes in, and has an incredible performance. Mm-hmm. And that could be Ennis Rakestraw this week if he plays. I still don't know if he's going to play. I mean, you even mentioned, too, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. If our cornerbacks aren't doing too good, we have two ball hawks in the safety room, in Branch and Joseph, that bring physicality and skill in hawking down footballs. So I think the defense could be just fine.
I think so, too. This is just going to be a game. I just feel like this is going to be more of like that old school, just run the football, just play that man football that you know how to play. It's going to be a battle in the trenches. Offensive line has already proved themselves this season that they can stick with anybody. They're the best offensive line in the NFL, and lots of explosive talents in our running back room. That is going to be the difference, I think, for this game. If I had to say like a Goff over-under passes, I'm going to say like 19 and a half.
I'd say 18.5.
I'd say under 20 is my number.
I would like him to keep it low because you have that explosive running backs, as we mentioned.
Against the 30th
ranked defense. Commanders' rushing defense isn't good. Any given day, you cannot take anybody lightly. It's a 3-game season. 3-game season. That's what your mind should be focused on, taking each opponent week by week. Do not overlook anybody. Jaden Daniels is an electric quarterback, and he can kill you if given the opportunity. He has that potential, and he will take advantage of you if you do not play the game right.
Commanders won 12 games this season.
They won 12 games. Commanders are a sneaky good team. And they're going to give us a run for our money. Ford Field's going to be rocking, which is going to be awesome. It's probably going to be standing room only. The noise has got to be up. The noise has got to be cranked up to 11 to at least try and throw off Jaden Daniels in this offense.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough because Jaden Daniels is that guy. Ryan, what you got?
You mentioned this crowd. I think when I was there on week 18, I think I counted 3 false starts by Minnesota.
Yes.
And that was all to the crowd. So it was loud in week 18. I think it reached up to 115 decibels. They got to crank it up a notch. They got to keep throwing them offsides, or not offsides, keep throwing false starts. I trust this crowd, man. I mean, we have probably one of the loudest stadiums in football. Having that home field advantage for not only the NFC Divisional, but also possibly the NFC Championship is huge. And if we make it there first, that'll be amazing. Ford Field, crank it up. Chant Jared Goff. I don't care about that. I don't care about
the Lions game, it's appropriate.
Exactly.
One more thing before we move on to Tigers here. I think another thing that the Lions have in their advantage is kind of obvious, but playoff experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Commanders don't really have Jaden Daniels doesn't really have the play. I mean, he won a playoff game, but not the experience of getting far into the playoffs, winning multiple games in the playoffs. This Commanders team hasn't really had that experience yet altogether. This Lions team has. We know what it takes to get to the NFC Championship. Jared Goff knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff's been to the Super Bowl. So this team has the experience. They know what it takes. That could be used as an advantage, too, over the Commanders. So, 8 o'clock Saturday, Ford Field. Lions Commanders on Fox. We're going to have the great Tom Brady on the call.
I love it.
I know
people hate him, but I love Tom Brady.
I think he's really coming into himself in the broadcast.
It also doesn't help that I am a Tom Brady fanboy.
So am I. I love Tom Brady.
I love Tom Brady.
He's the GOAT.
Yes.
And if you disagree, then...
Argue with The Rock.
Well...
The Rock.
You disagree.
If you smell.
If you smell. All right. So we're going to move on to the Tigers. Off season, it's been going.
It's been going.
It's been going. We made 2 signings. The only 2 signings we made are Alex Cobb for, I think it was 1 year, 13 or 14 mil.
That sounds
maybe
right.
15 mil.
Yes.
And then Gleyber Torres from the Yankees signed him 1 year, 15 mil.
I love it.
Apparently, Javi Baez had some. Didn't Javi Baez have some influence on Torres coming here?
No, it was Gio Urshela.
Gio Urshela.
Oh, yes. Gio Urshela had some influence in Gleyber Torres coming here. I think Gio, for the most part, he was a mostly kind of positive player. He had his moments. And I think he liked playing here, so... Welcome to Detroit, Gleyber Torres. Thank you, Gio, for bringing him here. They're going to slide Colt Keith to first base. They're going to put Gio at second base.
Gleyber Torres at second base.
Yeah, it's early. Gleyber Torres at second base. And then Torkelson kind of just becomes a floater on the bench. Probably going to make a lot of trips on 75 between Toledo and Detroit this season. I don't know if the time's up on Torkelson, but I think the Gleyber Torres signing's kind of showing us... This might be Torque's last chance to kind of make some noise off that bench before they move on from him.
Yeah, this I think is Torque's way of being told you have one more chance, or what we know with that Gleyber Torres signing is Torkelson's leash is very short.
Extremely.
Minuscule. Extremely short. That's the thing that sucks about it so much too. He was the number 1 overall pick back in 2020. And it stings because he's dealt with such confidence issues over his years with the Tigers. And it just, when it gets to him, he does not perform. And he gets sent down to AAA. And even for a couple days in AAA, he has those moments where his confidence is not really there. And then it gets instilled in him. And it's like when he regains that confidence back, he just motors on in AAA. And that's how he gets called back up. For the Tigers, you just made the playoffs last year. You just made the playoffs last year, and you just made it to the ALDS against the...
And gave the Guardians a run for their money.
Yes, you did. Exactly. Fans are going to be expecting you to do it again. Now,
There's an expectation there now.
There is an expectation there now, absolutely. Last year was an incredible run. You need a little bit of luck like that to make a magical run like that into the playoffs.
That's what's so beautiful about baseball.
Absolutely. Now you got to prove yourselves. This season especially. And one of the things that's going to be interesting with this Tigers team going forward, I keep seeing reports that Tigers may potentially reunite with Jack Flaherty.
I would not be opposed to that.
I wouldn't be opposed to it either. But again, it's like, when do we address... We have a lot of pitching. Scott Harris has clearly made it known that he wants to bolster up the bullpen and the pitching rotation. We got to keep focusing on the bats, too. We got to keep focusing on the bats. Another big report, Alex Bregman. Yep. The elephant in the room, Alex Bregman. From what we've heard, I think Bregman wants at least 6 years, but I think the Tigers are willing to give him 5. So negotiations are going to be difficult.
I think either side, it's 1 year. I mean,
right.
Bregman, I know it's a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, the difference between 5 and 6 years. You're going to have to pay
Bregman, and if we get Bregman, don't forget you also have to pay Tarek Skubal.
Yes, we have to pay Tarek Skubal. We can't lowball him again.
No.
Because I think that insulted him.
I don't think they lowballed him.
They did.
I think they were just trying to figure out how much money he wants.
The thing is, that's still a low ball because when you have the best pitcher in baseball and a Cy Young candidate, you don't gauge you give him a check and you say, this is blank. Here is a pen. Whatever you want, buddy, you get it. Because he's the best pitcher in baseball. You can't get better than him unless it's like Shohei, who could play both sides of the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
He is the best singular pitcher in baseball. You give him the check that he wants. You build your team around that contract. And the fact that they were trying to gauge his market, that is a low ball, in my opinion at least, and a lot of Tigers fans' opinion, because you just don't mess this up. Don't insult him. He's probably thinking in his head, I should be getting a blank check. Look what I just did.
Right.
Look what I just led us to with my pitching. Look what I just won. Look what I accomplished. And you're trying to gauge my... That's not what you do. That's not what you do. I think, we were talking about Torkelson. I think a lot of people forget that he had 30 home runs a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. He still has the potential.
Definitely.
You don't just hit, I guess it's baseball. You can just hit 30 home runs and fizzle out. But there's potential in his bat. He has when he's confident, he has a good swing. I wanted to bring that up because I think 30 home runs is impressive, nothing to scoff at. But it's just inconsistent. Mm-hmm. I think it plays to the confidence issues that you brought up.
Okay, here's my quick hits about the Tigers. I like the Alex Cobb signing. At his age, and he has he has a sub-3 ERA for Cleveland last year. I think that's really good. Plus, he killed us in the playoffs last year. So I love Alex Cobb. I think he finishes off the rotation well. Now the question is, what is your bullpen going to look like? Because you have Skubal, you have Reese, you have Alex Cobb, but then you also have Sawyer Gibson-Long coming back from injury, and you also have Jackson Jobe, who might get the call-up this spring, and you also have Crider Montero, who's been okay. Who's going to fill out that fourth starting rotation?
You got to sign Flaherty. I think what you got to do is you got to sign Flaherty. He liked playing here, hometown kid, or I don't know. He grew up a Tigers fan. I think that's what it was. Grew up a Tigers fan. He likes playing here. We got what we need to get from him. Trey Sweeney, incredible player. I think it's Tyrone Lorenzo is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He's killing it in the minors. In fall league, he was slashing. So I think we won the trade. I think both teams won because ultimately the Dodgers won a championship.
Yeah, Alonso's been killing it in fall ball, and then you got Trey Sweeney, who was like the savior.
He was a catalyst into
I think he should be the starting shortstop going forward, but we have a guy who we're paying a lot of money to start shortstop, and we can't get rid of it because
yes, El Mago once a week. Yes,
once a week.
Once a week, he makes a diving grab.
He makes a diving grab and almost overthrow the first baseman. But anyways,
at least he made Torkelson a good first baseman,
Exactly.
scooping the ball in the dirt.
That's true, but that figuring out that fourth rotation spot, it could be Flaherty. To your point, I wouldn't be opposed to have Flaherty back because you trade him away, you got the two prospects, and then you get him back.
That was kind of discussed when we traded him too. Like, hey, sign him back.
Yeah.
Try to get him back here. Kind of explain him when you trade him. Hey, we want to sign you again. We just think that you're better off going to win a championship right now. We need these pieces, and then we could bring you back once you win your championship.
Yep. Mm-hmm. If we sign him, then I love that trade.
Yeah.
Jackson Jobe, although he didn't start, I think he looked fine, especially towards the end of the regular season. He's been coming off a pretty big injury that took him out a lot last year. I think with the rehab that he's been doing since October, since we've got knocked out, I think he does earn that spot in spring training of that fourth starter spot. Or he could go back. He could probably go to Toledo, or he could go to Erie and just rehab until he feels ready to come back. Waiting now, if this is year 4 for him to be a starter is kind of it's looking a little worrisome in my eyes, but I think he could definitely pull it off. Gleyber Torres, I love that signing. He had 15 home runs last year for New York. He is probably one of the best he was probably the best left-handed hitter in free agency, and the fact that we snagged him for like a little prove it deal was great. And my thing about Skubal is that sure, we could have lowballed him, but in my eyes, I see that as testing out what he wants, because we could give him a deal and then we'd have no money to sign more guys. I think we wanted to test that market and see what Skubal wants, because I think if you want to sign Skubal, it has to be in the 2025 or 2026 offseason, because he could blow his arm out this year.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And it would look absolutely stupid if you signed him to like a 10-year deal this season, and then he has TJs in this regular season. In my eyes, it just doesn't look right to sign him now. That's why you gave him that check and be like, okay, here's this much. Here's how many years we want you. We're going to probably put pen to paper next offseason.
I think arbitration was the right way to go.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think how they did it. They didn't just do arbitration. They kind of tried to see where he was. What was the offer? Like
it was
130 million or something.
Right around there, and he was signed. He signed arbitration for just north of $10 million.
I think arbitration was the right. I think they should just win arbitration. And Skubal's not dumb. He's going to ask for a good chunk of change, but he's not going to debilitate the front office's cap or the front office. And I forgot there's no cap space, or there's no cap in baseball. Mm-hmm. He's not going to debilitate the owner and say, hey, I want your entire bank account, and now we can't have a baseball team around me, because he wants to win. So obviously he wants his money, but he also wants to win. I think if you're a professional athlete, you know that, and if you're given, hey, you can get what you want, we'll give you the contract you want, they know that. And they know they don't want to debilitate the team.
Yeah. And Ryan, to your point really quick, just to kind of wrap this up, to see what your bullpen looks like, you still got Casey Mize. You still got Jason Foley. You still got Will Vest. You still got Bo Brisky.
Tyler Holton
as well.
MVP candidate.
Yeah. Tyler Holton, I completely forgot about him, but he came in so clutch. Who do you guys want to see as the closer? I think
Foley or Holton.
Either Foley or Tyler Holton.
I don't know, because Foley had his moments last year, but he also had his moments last year.
Yeah.
So I liked Foley as a closer last year. I don't know. I think that's a curious case. That's why I'm sitting in a college radio station and the Tigers are out in Lakeland figuring it out. Because
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how they've been looking this fall. I don't know how they're going to look when pitchers and catchers report in early February. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Foley
That's a great question.
Foley has closer experience, which is why he'd be like my 1A guy. But Holton has been a lockdown reliever this year. He's looked like the best reliever in baseball. I think it just should be Foley. Or I don't know. Maybe
exactly.
My hottest take in baseball right now is to make Casey Mize a reliever, and then just have Job or SGL be the fourth starter, and just have Casey Mize move down to be a reliever. And then probably move. I don't know. This is tough.
It's tough.
This is really hard. I think Foley is my answer.
This will be interesting, but maybe we'll see a little bit more pitching chaos. I think
you need to have at least 4 starters and then 1 pitching chaos day, because it worked. It worked, and I think it's a foolproof method, because sure, managers can be prepared for it, but you can truly never be prepared because you don't know who'd be trotting out. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a foolproof method if you don't overuse it, because overusing anything in life can sting you.
Absolutely.
I think there's two marks on the checklist for Scott Harris: Bregman, Flaherty. Get it done, get it over with, finish off the offseason with those 2 signings right there.
And if it's not
it's
Bregman,
right there for you.
If it's not Bregman, there's still Anthony Santander, who they want to still pursue.
Santander would be my plan B in that case. All right, coming up after this break, we have a little bit of Pistons for you. The Pistons are rolling right now, and we have a little bit of the NFL Divisional round. You're watching Card Guys Detroit Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this.
Sports cards, signed jerseys, signed helmets, and more. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles is your one-stop shop for all things the hobby. Make sure to check them out down Mission Street in Mount Pleasant, right past Meyer. Miller's Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Join Michael Rosenkranz.
Sports take precedence over academics.
I agree, but
Ryan Donnelly.
Corbin Burns, who is their big-ticket J13 item. Scooble is with us. Scooble's our big ticket.
Did you just call Tarek Scooble James?
And Anthony Schulte. I have an issue.
You have.
There is no break. It's a constant grind. It's an unbreakable cycle.
Yeah, it's.
As they navigate through the Detroit sports landscape. Live Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 a.m. on 101.1 The Beat in Mount Pleasant and at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk.
Welcome back, Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk. Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, Anthony Schulte here with you on this hump day, first Wednesday of the semester. How about those Pistons?
How about those Pistons,
How
baby?
about them? Against the New York Knicks, you had a big test going into the Mecca. Already beat them there once. The Knicks kind of had a little bit of adversity going into this. They needed a win. They were desperate for a win, 1-4 in their last 5. Pistons 4-1 in their last 5. Kind of might play a little bit comfortable basketball. Kind of saw that in the first. A little bit of comfortable basketball in the first half. What a back and forth end of that. The final, if you haven't seen it yet, folks, go on YouTube. House of Highlights has the final 4 minutes of regulation. Pistons and Knicks. Watch it.
Incredible.
It is one of the best endings to a basketball game I've seen this season so far. There's no foul baiting. The refs aren't trying to steal the show. It's just Cade Cunningham and Jalen Brunson going back and forth with each other, and then Malik Beasley, as Ryan mentioned in 3 stars, hitting the dagger, talking some smack to a fan that was talking smack to him, and hitting the shimmy. It was beautiful. We mentioned Cade Cunningham. All-star. Everybody's saying it. The media is saying it. I'm not worried about him becoming an all-star because the media has a vote and the media loves Cade. However, you guys can play a part. I'm putting on the screen right now. Pistons.com/all-star or the NBA app. Vote for Cade. You can do it right there. Vote for Cade Cunningham.
Vote for Cade. And don't. If
do
you
it
are
today.
Okay, here's the thing. Vote Cade Cunningham. And if you're voting for the other guard, vote for Malik Beasley or Donovan Mitchell.
Because we don't want, so even though respect to Trae Young, respect to Jalen Brunson, respect to Damian Lillard, Trae Young had an amazing performance yesterday, 43 points.
Yeah.
I was watching the end of that game. I really wanted the Hawks to lose. However, no disrespect to them, we do not want to be feeding the people right above Cade votes. We don't want to. We just vote Beasley, vote Cade, make sure Cade gets the advantage.
And vote LeBron
there.
James, too.
And vote LeBron. The third returns come in tomorrow. The third returns, not the second. Third returns come in tomorrow. We're going to be able to see, how Cade's doing in the polls. He went down from 6 to 7, but this recent stretch of games from Cade, I think he's earning a lot. There you go. He's already got his votes in.
There you
I
go.
voted today.
I already got my votes in at midnight. I did it right at midnight. So I got my votes in. He got his votes in. Go get your votes in. All the votes matter for Cade Cunningham. As I put on the screen, Pistons.com/all-star. Or if you have the NBA app, just go straight into the NBA app with your NBA ID, and you can vote for Cade. He's been incredible. You can see his stats on the screen right there. I put it up. I think it's, now because I said I think it's, now I have to go look at the stats I put up because I don't want to be wrong. I think it's like 25.8. I got the 5 and the 8 mixed up. 25.8 points, 8.9 assists, 5 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and a plus 65.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In the last 12 games. 10-2
Cade's killing
in
it.
the last 12 games. The Pistons, 2 games above 500, 21-19. It feels good.
It's refreshing.
It is.
As Detroit basketball fans and as Pistons fans. Again, I mentioned I'm probably not the biggest Pistons fan, much to Ryan and Anthony, especially Anthony, who's watched 532 consecutive Pistons
Make it 5:33 on Thursday, tomorrow.
Indiana.
And we're favored
against Indiana.
This is uncharted waters. We are being favored and projected to win more games than not. Uncharted waters. If you're a Card Guys fan, if you know the lore of Card Guys, you'll remember last year we went through the schedule, and I probably went on, a 20 or 30 minute rant about each game and how Monty Williams lost us each game. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy we don't have to have a repeat of that.
Yeah.
Now we can look at these games and be happy. We can look at these games and be like, you know what? We have a winning coach, a winning basketball team, and winning players. We're 1.5. We have more wins than the 6 seed, and we're a game and a half out of the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Home court advantage, hosting playoff game, not even play in. We're past the play-in talks right now. We're being talked about as playoff. Top 6. If you were to tell me that before the season, I'd laugh at you, especially when we started 0-4. I would have laughed at you and called you crazy. I thought it was more of the same, but no, Pistons turned it around.
They turned it around. Here's the thing that is important going forward for the Pistons, especially when you talk trades. The Pistons, the way they're playing right now, have to be buyers.
Yes.
They have to be buyers at the deadline. The question is, which kind of players do they go out and get?
Zach LaVine's been playing his butt off.
Zach LaVine
There
has
are
been
two
awesome.
types of players that you do go after, and that's a starting guard to pair with Cade and another dynamic scorer to come off the bench to pair with Malik Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
You need scoring.
I mean, the starting lineup's working.
What?
The starting lineup is working.
It's working, but maybe have Timmy come off the bench?
I just thought of this. Like, literally right now, I've not thought of this yet. I saw a tweet saying that Jonas Valanciunas is more available than ever. I feel like, now hear me out, we need some sort of center that has experience. I think the one thing about Duren is that his awareness on the court is that of a potato.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was going to
have-
mention something about Duren.
He has no clock awareness, no game awareness. The only awareness he has is when he sees Cade, and when him and Cade are on a 2-on-1 and they go for a lob. I like Duren. I think he has he has potential. He's only 21. But, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. He doesn't have good awareness. You need a veteran center to pair with Cade. Maybe Valanciunas is a little old. He's not what he used to be last season, the season before. He's not a lob threat, but he's a veteran that's cheap. And it's really hard to find cheap veteran centers that can produce for you. And maybe Valanciunas might be a cheap, send him a second-round pick. Hey, Troy. Hi, old friend. Give us Valanciunas. I mean, that contract is awful. It's $30 million. Contract is awful, but we can eat it. We can eat the contract. Maybe they give us to eat the contract. Maybe they give us a second-round pick. Maybe even a first-round pick. Maybe we can try and get some picks off of them. Maybe 2 second-round picks. I can't think of any other centers that are available, though. Can you guys?
No, and my thing is, I don't want to go after Jonas Valanciunas because of that money. I mean, he's a great player. I'm not knocking him. I mean, I love Jonas Valanciunas. I don't want to eat the money, though.
What are his stats right now? Let's take a look.
Right now, I got you.
11-8-2.
11-8-2?
I mean, that's better than Duren. Duren's averaging 9-9.
Yeah.
And at least Valanciunas, and yeah, it's decent. What's his three-point percentage looking like?
21%?
Oh, wow, that's dipped. Yeah, that's dipped. Last season, he was in like mid-30s. Look, I think for 11-8, it's better than what Duren's producing right now. And, I mean, if to take on that contract, if you could take in a couple more picks, I mean, just eat the contract. Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of any other center. And if we're serious about making a playoff run, we're going all in the playoffs to really get this team some experience. I think you need a center that at least has some awareness, a veteran center to go with Cade and provide spacing. I mean, sure, he's only shooting 21%, but people still have to respect his 3-point shot. He shot the ball well for his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind
CJ
McCollum from this.
I mean, I like Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram. If we're going for a big player, Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram.
I think if we're going big player, Zach LaVine is one. I mean, he's averaging almost 30 in January. He has been playing probably the best basketball of his career. And CJ McCollum from New Orleans, I mean, he's in a very bad situation right now. He's on the tail end of a contract. And I feel like he's averaging, like, I think 20 points, 20-plus points. I'd love to see him pair with Cade for now. I don't know how many years he has left on his contract. But if he does have a year left on his contract, then snag him. Maybe you have to give up Tim Hardaway or Simone Fontecchio. Let him walk and have Jaden Ivey come back. I think that's probably your best scenario, CJ McCollum. If you get Brandon Ingram, I know he has 1 year left in his deal, and he's been hurt most of the year. I don't think, especially if he comes back, I don't want to risk it, like getting rid of a big package for him.
Yeah, it can't be a package where we're losing too much.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and I feel like that's what New Orleans wants from Brandon Ingram. I wouldn't do it. I don't think you should break up this core, but if you do, break up a little bit of this core. It should be for another guard in the starting lineup, and then move a starter to the small forward.
You could also
position.
move Zach LaVine to the small forward if Ivy comes back.
That's true, but that's a big if right now.
If we all this is a big if.
If we make the playoffs, I could see Ivy come back, but for now, no.
Yeah, I mean, they said he's most likely not coming back, but again, you never know with these type of things. They thought Hutch was gone for the season. He might play in the Super Bowl. So
I wouldn't rush Hutch, though.
I wouldn't either.
Nah, you don't rush.
Anyways, Pistons, they play tomorrow night against the Pacers at home, 7 o'clock, FanDuel Sports Network. It's going to be a good game. I think the Pistons win. Because we've been winning a lot.
I
hope so.
I really hope Tyrese Halliburton doesn't outplay Cade. Anyways, that's all for Pistons. Quick NFL Divisional round. We have a great slate of games this weekend. As football fans, I think we're all happy with these matchups.
I'm very satisfied.
Absolutely.
So we got Baltimore and Kansas City to kick us off
game
on Saturday.
of the divisional round. That's going to be fun.
It is. I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to doubt. I think KC wins just because it's Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and Taylor Swift in the playoffs. They're going to win.
The Chiefs have devil magic.
They do. They have that dark magic.
The Chiefs should not be the number 1 seed. I will die on that hill that they should be like an 8-win team. They are not a 15-2 win team. I don't believe that. I think Houston will play it close, but Roger Goodell will throw a paycheck at all these refs, and then the Chiefs will win by dark magic.
You mean Baltimore?
Baltimore plays the Bills.
You talked about the Chiefs, though.
I thought Baltimore played KC.
No, Baltimore played Buffalo.
Baltimore's playing Buffalo.
I thought you were talking about the Texans-Chiefs game.
I looked at a CBS Sports graphic, and it said Baltimore was playing Kansas City.
Uh-oh.
That was probably
Hold on.
They leaked the script.
They leaked the script. Wait a minute.
Hold on. What was this graphic I looked at?
If that actually happens, we have a great conversation to talk about on Wednesday's show.
Yes, we do.
We spoiled the NFL.
Oh, my gosh.
Does it say who the Lions are playing on the 26th?
No, so it said in the divisional round. Maybe it was just a graphical error that they made and they didn't catch it, or maybe it was a joke. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
I looked at it, and I was just looking for NFL playoff bracket just so I could get the matchups right, because I didn't remember all the matchups. And it had the Baltimore Raven logo on top of the Chiefs logo.
I gotta see this graphic where you found it.
Oh boy, I don't know. That's
pretty weird.
Oh jeez, look at this. We're already messing up. We
Anyways.
are back. We are already messing up.
Anyways, Ravens-Bills. That's still going to be very fun. I think it'll be neck and neck. Both teams have pretty much equal playoff experience. Yeah, I mean, you can't really stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and that Bills run defense isn't that great. It's not Commanders level bad, but it's still pretty bad. I think Baltimore will squeak out a win in the Meadowlands. Rams-Eagles, that's another game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eagles win by 2 scores. I mean, are you looking for some?
No, what are the Meadowlands?
The Meadowlands is Buffalo.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that New York? Isn't that MetLife?
That's
is it MetLife?
MetLife is the Jets, no?
No, the Meadowlands. Isn't that what they call MetLife?
Is it?
Oh,
I thought it was Buffalo.
Now we have to look this up. This is a terrible segment. Hold on.
It's New Jersey.
Yeah,
It's MetLife Stadium. I am the equivalent.
What's they call Buffalo?
This is a low point.
Cold. Yes, it's just cold.
This is a low point for this segment.
Hold on.
This segment's a train crash. Good God.
Exactly.
Yes, it's a train crash.
Bills played Highmark.
Yep. Anyways, taking a look at the weather in Buffalo.
Wrapped up in this?
Taking a look at the weather in Buffalo on Sunday, it's going to be a high of 19 and a low of 12. So not the coldest game in Buffalo.
Dude, could that be higher than what we have here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
probably.
Michigan, probably.
Shockingly, Buffalo, New York is warmer than Mount Pleasant.
That is
Michigan.
wild.
That's crazy.
It is.
Anyways, it's not going to be that cold according to Buffaloans. I'm still going to take the Ravens though.
You're going to take the Ravens over the Bills.
What's that?
You're going to take the Ravens
I
over
am.
the Bills. Wow.
I
Because
really
here's the thing,
think
that's
that
a
game
that
could go
Bills
either way.
that Bills run defense is not like Commanders level bad, but it's still pretty bad. I think you cannot. No one can stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So therefore, I got the Ravens to win that game. Rams,
you
Eagles.
bring a good point.
That's
you bring
a
good
really
point.
good point.
Rams, Eagles. I have the Eagles to win that game. I mean, that they got a solid run defense and they got a solid pass defense. They got a solid defense there in LA, but man, that Eagles offense is high powered. Saquon and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts.
Good offensive line.
Their offensive line. If you force them to throw, I mean, that's probably their only weakness is that Jalen Hurts doesn't really have that big of an arm. And he still has he's pretty accurate for a quarterback and he's pretty speedy, but I mean, they got to rely on Saquon Barkley and their just defense to keep shutting them down. So I got the Eagles to win, to move on to probably Ford Field. Lions, Commanders, Lions, and Texans, Chiefs. I'm gonna say it's gonna be closer than we all think. However, the devil will be coming from the shadows and curse the Chiefs with a win. I think the Chiefs are an 8-win team at best. They're not a 15-win team. They got very lucky to be at the position they're at right now. It's thanks to Roger Goodell, Taylor Swift,
The referees,
and the devil.
I mean, I think the Chiefs they're a talented team. They're a talent. They've been here before.
We're not knocking them down.
They're
Okay.
back-to-back champions.
Offense was struggling towards the beginning of the year. Their defense is rock solid, though. I will say
I think they're a 10 to 11 win team. I don't think they're a 15-win team. I think they're a 10 to 11, maybe 12-win team. There's maybe 3 or 4 games that they just straight up should not have won. 3 to 4 of them, but they're still a good team. I don't like the Chiefs. I can respect Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a hell of a player.
Yep.
I can respect Travis Kelce. I can
don't respect his girlfriend,
Andy
though.
Reid. I can respect their team. They have a good team. I just don't like them, and I think that sometimes the NFL would prefer them to win. And I think they prefer them to win this week. I agree with all your picks, except I think Buffalo's going to win on a game-winning Bass field goal, and this is what's going to happen. It's going to be the end of the game, right?
And
They're
and
gonna
Bills
go for
are
a
at home,
field-
too.
Yeah, they're going to go for a field goal, and the ball is going to start drifting right. All of the Bills fans are going to get flashbacks. The ball's going to be drifting to the right, and it's going to just barely make it through.
Do we call Derek and get his opinion?
Imagine.
He's awake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have some time.
There's
We have
a
time.
phone call.
No way we are doing this on air right now.
We're calling Derek Steele and getting his opinion.
We have time. We have time.
We have a little bit of time, but we're calling Derek Steele and getting his opinion on this game because I feel like he'll pick Buffalo.
Make sure to tell him he's on the show.
Yep. All right. Hey,
You are
Derek,
on the
you're
show.
live on air.
Okay,
We have a question for you.
what's up?
Without swearing, what's your prediction for the Buffalo-Baltimore game?
Ooh, I think this game will be closer than the first time the two teams played. If you go back and you look at Buffalo's defense, there are a lot of key pieces out on their defense. One that comes to mind quickly is Matt Milano. I think that he can help stuff the gaps a lot better than what Buffalo had in the first game and help stop King Henry. Plus, coming into Buffalo and playing in Buffalo is one of the hardest environments to play in.
Okay.
With that being said, you still have to give props to Lamar Jackson. He's still an amazing quarterback. They still have weapons. I believe Zay Flowers is going to be back, so he torched our defense the first time they played. Score prediction, boy, I'm going to say 37-34 Baltimore in overtime.
Boom! What I
Wow.
said!
The
He's on
resident
my
Bills
side.
fan. The Bills? Okay.
Derek is
All
our
right.
resident Bills fan, for those who don't know.
That's an honest prediction. I can respect it.
I'm the only one in this room that also said Baltimore is going to win this game.
Baltimore is favored by 1.5 right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close.
That's really close.
Yeah.
Really close.
All right, that's all I wanted.
Thanks
you,
for,
Derek.
ladies and gentlemen, Derek Steele.
Steele, everybody.
Steele.
This weekly Bills prediction. We'll call you next week if the Bills do win to get your AFC Championship prediction.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
All right, love you. Bye.
Nice little impromptu guest.
Nice.
Derek
The
Steele
graphic
joins
has been
the show.
produced.
The graphic has been produced like that. Guys, Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites.
Of
over
course
the
they
Texans.
are.
Yeah.
Of course
Why
they
wouldn't
are.
they be?
And
The
CJ
Chiefs are going to
Stroud.
win.
Why
Let's not
wouldn't
even.
they be?
CJ Stroud's having a sophomore slump.
I mean, he had a great game against the Chargers.
He did.
He
but-
really
Good
did.
game.
But the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be the Chiefs. We all
Chiefs
know.
Lions Super Bowl. The Chiefs are going to win by devil's magic.
We all know that the Chiefs are going to win that game. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's all we have for today's show. A very, very good show today. We had a little impromptu guest. We had some good discussion. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. That segment was a train wreck, and now I can't even get the close right.
Oh my
Here
gosh,
we go.
guys.
Yep, this is a little rusty coming back from break, I see. All right. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys, Season 4, Episode 2 on 101.1 The Beat and YouTube. Tune in next Wednesday as we discuss the outcome of the Lions and Commanders game, and we check in on the Pistons and Wings. Wings have a tough schedule coming up in the near future, so tough loss to the Sharks yesterday. Remember that no show Monday, MLK Jr. Day. Wednesday, we'll be back with you for those topics. For my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, I'm Anthony Schulte saying so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad.